The Great Nail Conspiracy of the 1930s. The 1930s were a strange time in American sports. You had mobsters running betting rings, newspapers selling scandals faster than peanuts at a ball game, and athletes who could go from heroes to punchlines in the space of a single headline. And then came the Nails. Picture the scene. A team bus rumbling down a dusty back road. Players inside joking about the game, puffing on cigars, maybe even humming some swing tune. Then, bang, bang, bang. Tires burst like firecrackers. The whole bus jolts. Athletes crash into each other like bowling pins, helmets flying, curses filling the air. Outside, a patch of nails glitters in the dirt, waiting like an ambush. Officials called it a rowdy prank. Local kids being dumb. But people in smoky bars and backroom card games whispered a darker truth. This wasn't some prank. It was a conspiracy. The first theory? An assassination attempt disguised as mischief. If the bus had gone faster, the crash could have wiped out the entire roster. Or at least their star player, the golden boy every bookmaker had money on. One wreck, one obituary, and the league would have been changed forever. Instead, the driver somehow kept control, and the bus just wheezed to a stop, leaving the players alive, shaken, and sweating bullets. A failed hit job, or divine comedy. And where there are bullets, or nails, there's always the mob. The Mafia theory says the nails weren't about blood, but about money. Bookmakers downtown had suspiciously heavy bets on visiting team loses the first half. And wouldn't you know it? After pushing their own busted bus half a mile, the visiting team looked less like athletes and more like exhausted coal miners. By halftime, they were down bad. The gamblers cashed in enough dough to buy new suits, new Cadillacs, and maybe even a judge or two. But here's the kicker. Only one lane of the road was nailed. The home team's bus? Smooth sailing. Not a single puncture. That's not chance. That's choreography. Someone with the transport schedule knew exactly which lane the visiting bus would take. An inside job, with a hammer, a bucket of nails, and maybe a grudge. And then there's the press. The morning papers didn't just cover the fiasco. They practically staged a photo shoot. Crystal clear shots of flat tires, players pushing the bus, muscles straining like some tragic advertisement for manual labor. Now remember, this was the 1930s. Cameras were clunky beasts that took time to set up. You don't just happen to be waiting on a lonely dirt road with your tripod unless somebody tipped you off. Some folks say the whole thing was staged, not for sabotage, but for headlines. After all, a nail trap sells more papers than a clean win. Eyewitnesses later added their own spice. Some claimed they saw men in fedoras slinking away through the cornfields right before the bus rolled up. Others swore the team's star never played the same again, that the trap wasn't about the game, but about ending his career. One even insisted he saw a reporter crouched in the bushes, camera cocked, before a single tire popped. By the time the team finally stumbled into the stadium, uniforms wrinkled, drenched in sweat, and looking like they'd already played 4 quarters, the rival team was fresh as daisies. The outcome was inevitable. The visitors lost. The gamblers won. The fans got a story they'd retell for decades. So what was it really? A childish prank with deadly consequences? A mafia bet hedge? A hit job gone wrong? Or the slickest publicity stunt the 1930s ever saw? We may never know. But one truth remains. Nails don't just puncture tires. They puncture history. They shred certainty. They leave behind a trail of flat rubber, bent egos, and endless theories. And that's why people still talk about the Great Nail Conspiracy. Not because of the score, not because of the game, but because somewhere between the mobsters, the gamblers, the reporters, and the nails, a simple bus ride turned into one of the strangest scandals sports had ever seen.